This podcast contains discussions about sensitive topics, including mental health, alcohol and substance use, as well as suicide. It may also include strong language. The viewpoints expressed by guests do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the hosts. Listener discretion is advised. If you or someone you know needs support, please reach out to a trusted professional or a helpline. Welcome to Twist the Throttle, the podcast where we crank open the throttle on life's toughest rides. From mental health struggles to life on two wheels, we're here to have real, raw, unscripted conversations that break the stigma and help you navigate the road ahead. So grab your helmet, hit the road with us, and remember, it's still okay to pump the brakes. Together, we're shifting gears on mental health. Here's your hosts, Ambo and the Prez.
Well, welcome back, listeners. Another week has passed, and it's time to twist the throttle and get on board with our new guest, Kai.
Kai, from the Southern Brotherhood, welcome to the show, mate.
No, thanks for having me, guys.
No
Good to be
problem.
here.
So you are the president, founder of Southern Brotherhood,
yep.
a club out of Melton in Victoria. Similar goals to our club that we've talked about already.
Yeah.
We've had a bit of a chat before we come on today, so just relax, get into it, we'll be all good. We always kick the show off with a bit of an icebreaker, mate. What bike do you ride?
V-Star 650. Yeah, good reliable bikes.
I had one, loved it.
Yeah.
Could not kill that thing with a tank, I reckon.
They're super reliable. I think that's what the thing I've held on to it for. So
Fairly easy to work on.
Customise the shit out of it.
not crazy at the moment, but I'm just going through some stuff at the moment, trying to do little bits and pieces and stuff like that.
I think
So
your partner's got the same bike.
she does, yeah. It's all bobbed out.
Yeah, I've seen hers.
So her looks a bit better than mine, I think.
If money was no object, what would be your dream bike?
Probably just a Fat Boy. Yeah, that's what I want to upgrade to.
Yeah.
I think I've come to that point because I've had that V-Star for...
Go for a ride, mate. I'm not a big
Oh,
fan of the Fat
really?
Wheels, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd say same thing. It's like I've never actually ridden a bike that felt like it was fighting against you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard that about like the breakouts.
Yeah,
and
breakouts
that,
are a bit different. I'm on the Softail Deluxe. It's probably the nicest bike.
Bit better.
Yeah, I went to...
Not shitting on your dream, but I always
By
wanted
all
a Fat Boy.
means,
I
go.
wanted a Fat Boy as well, and
Yeah.
same thing. It was-
I went to Harley Heaven. That was the first bike I rode,
Yeah.
and took it straight down through the city, and I got onto the big sweeping bend heading towards the Westgate Bridge, and I was into it,
Yeah.
and I just wanted to drift across 3 lanes of
Okay,
traffic.
shit, yeah.
It turns like a boat.
I think it's just because it's so iconic. I mean,
definitely.
I think
It looks
that first scene, that scene from Terminator 2 still sticks with me with
Yeah,
he's on
that's
the
cool.
Fat Boy coming off the bridge. I'm like, fuck, that's a bike right there.
So what got you into riding?
My brother. So he rides and he'd gotten his bike and had it at the time. And thankfully I was in a good place because I've rode dirt bikes and stuff as a kid, and life took me in a different direction where hobbies weren't a priority. So I'd sort of gotten, cleaned my life up a little bit, and he'd started riding, and I'm like, yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah,
I mean, that seems awesome. So that's why I got the V-Star going on about 8-9 years ago now.
Yeah, no.
And the V-Star looked more like a Harley than the Harley did, like the Street 500. So I'm like, oh, look, I'm a big guy, so I need a big bike, and that was a perfect fit for me. So
I had the same thought process to get mine. I'm like, I sat on a Harley and I was like, the street's like, oh, it's nice.
Yeah.
but it's not quite what I'm after.
surprising for Harley, they don't have a good entry bike,
The new ones are even worse.
I've seen, yeah.
The Benellis, they're not even
Yeah.
bloody Harleys. Harley don't even build them. They just rebadged them.
But I think I'm due for an upgrade, I think. Riding with a big group in the clubs and stuff like that, it's like, yeah, you need something a little bit more power. But those are right, it's got a bit
So
of
it's a good
torque to it.
progression coming from dirt to road. So you started young.
Oh, yeah, I only just messed around a little bit. Like, I didn't always have a dirt bike and stuff, so, using a thumbster or something, but a bit of fun, so it was just,
So we said
transition.
your Mrs. Mel rides as well.
She does.
Did you get her into bikes? Did you meet through bikes? Like, what's the go there? Like,
We've been together a long time. Yeah, we've been over 20 years.
Oh,
so,
good.
but I got her into bikes.
Yeah.
I remember the first ride I took her on. I had the pillion seat, no backrest.
Yeah.
She's like, Danny in the street's like, get the fuck off this bike.
yeah,
I can't do it, right?
Not happy.
Can't do it. So I put the backrest on, and that changed the game for her quite a lot.
Perfect.
And it just got in her blood. It really did. Like, I could never see her not riding. So she was a pillion for a while. She was my backpack and stuff.
Yeah.
And then as quickly as she could, she transitioned to her own bike. And we give her shit because her first bike was a little 125. I think it was CBR or something like that. So bicycle tyres.
Yeah, a whole inch of rubber on the road.
Yeah, it was a funny story because we went down to Greendale pub one day. We all read down there as a group. I'm like, oh, we'll swap bikes for a bit of fun on the way back. So I was leading the group on her little CBR 125. She was on my V-Star and stuff. So
And then now she's got a V-Star.
now she's got one as well. So
She's like, yep, that's what it's supposed to
yeah, she's got her own independence. She doesn't need me anymore.
What type of riding do you like doing? A long distance? twisties?
I haven't done a ton of long distance. Like I'm talking, hundreds of kilometers, those hard ass rides. Haven't done a lot of that stuff. I don't really have a favorite. I love to sit on the freeway. So not necessarily the freeway, but, back straight country road and just be in my own thoughts and stuff like that. But then, hitting the twisties as well is really nice. I mean, it's not my favorite type of thing because I think the cruisers are a little bit different than the sports bikes. They favour it quite heavily.
Me at the front of the pack, we have every club ride we do what we call the dickhead section. I'll stay with the pack and keep everyone together, and all the boys that like to ride the wheels off their bikes, just
see you later.
Just go.
And enjoy
We'll meet you at the next stop.
Yeah.
He's always there at least 15 minutes before I get there. So.
It's important to have a bit of fun on the bikes sometimes. Yeah.
Do you have a favourite road or destination? Or
not necessarily a destination, I think. I'm pretty lucky. Like, I live in Melton, and 20 minutes we've got some great rides, some real scenic routes. There's so many different directions you can go. Like, I don't think I could handle it living in the city with a bike because you'd have to travel an hour just to get to anything half decent.
That's our biggest problem, isn't it? If we want to go for a proper ride, we've got to drive. We've got to ride there somewhere. Now
we wanted to do the Omeo Highway and Alpine Road, and it's 4 hours to get to the start of it, and then it's another 4-hour ride.
I think a 2-day we could do it.
We could do it in 2 days.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have a crack at it.
Yeah.
Be good to try and organise a charity ride that was just like an overnight type thing as well.
We did talk about having something like that. Like having a paddock and having a band, or actually making something pretty cool of it.
Those old school
people just bring their tent and camp out. That would be pretty cool. Yeah.
Any bucket list rides? Anything you'd like to do?
There is one. Me and my son, my eldest, has turned 17 in January, so he's already got it. He's got a dirt bike now, and he's been on the back of my bike. All my kids of age have been on the back of my bike more than just up and down the street. I've even let him ride my bike up and down the street before, and he's got the bug. He wants it and stuff like that. So we've been talking about a lap of Australia, just the two of us. So
that'd be pretty sick.
Hopefully it all works out. I'm gonna, hopefully pass my bike on to him. Upgrade and the two of us once he turns 18 gets a little bit of experience behind him, because that's might do a couple of dry runs up to New South, Queensland, something like that, come back, and then the dream is to definitely get to a lap around Australia. So that's sort of on the list of things to do, I reckon.
Mate of mine bumped into two blokes that left Canberra. He bumped into him in Adelaide, and they were doing the full lap, but they were doing it on Groms. Like, they had backpacks, like full swags, everything on the back of a Honda Grom.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're going to do Australia. And I'm like, still happy with the idea? And they're like, no. I don't think we realize what we bit off. Like, like, I want to do that thing on a road glide. So something you can sit on.
That's the only thing that I'm thinking of. Like, might need a more appropriate bike for something like that, touring bike or an adventure bike.
The best thing about those V-Stars is that you could swap a seat off that and have it like a couch in 5 minutes.
Decent backrest, and you can fall asleep on it. So has the bike community been a source of support for you?
Oh, incredibly so. Yeah, it really has. It's funny because I think the bike community as a whole has that stigma behind it, like little rough, tough, blokes, because it's obviously male dominated and stuff. Some of the nicest, most genuine and generous people I've met are from that community. 100%. Like, they would give you the shirt off their back other than just to see you clothed and want nothing in return. It's great to be a part of. Like, it really has, and I've found a couple of really good people to align myself with in going in the right direction and same direction in life. So it's been such a positive.
We had the discussion. You went out and did a couple of trying to join ride groups and get out there, and like just couldn't find that little thing you were looking for. Like, I had the same feeling and started my club. You've started your club.
Yeah.
What's your overall vision for the Southern Brotherhood?
On a personal level, I'd always be chasing a real brotherhood, something that I could fall on and rely on throughout my years in life. And through my life, I haven't always made the right decisions and been associated with the right crowd. So I start to lose faith a little bit in people in general.
And you realise the value of those good people.
You do. It really highlights when you find someone good in your life, they're worth holding on to, they're worth fighting for. Personally, for me, obviously there's a big, umbrella effect for the club. I think personally for me, I really just wanted a family around me. I've got, big family and stuff. I don't talk to them all, and as you do with family and stuff. So I wanted a brotherhood. I mean, it's pretty much why it's in the name as well. So I wanted to really be specific about what the club was and what we'll sort of drive. And obviously, we've got a woman member and open to females.
So
and
you
stuff.
get your family involved with the club as well?
Heavily.
What we do.
You know what I mean? Like, sometimes the kids will be on the back of my bike. We'll go on rides together. Every barbecue we have, they're always there running around. And we just did a really great Christmas barbecue up at a local park. The vice president dressed up as Santa, and the kids loved it. It's hard to get it past some of my kids. My youngest is 5, and he goes, that sounds like Bullet. He's wearing the Santa costume and stuff, so he couldn't pull the wool over his eyes. It's like, I know that bike too.
I think it's good for the kids. They all get to hang out with one another as well and have friends outside of school.
Yeah,
and
it's great for them,
Yeah, it's good that the kids all grow up together and have friends outside of family as well.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to be sort of emphasize on the family side of things too, because I've got a lot of kids. They're always running around, and so
how many kids you got?
6.
Jeez,
yeah.
TV didn't work
Yeah,
in
no
your house?
TV. Yeah, I've had that one a few times. But so it's important because obviously, I've heard you guys talk about juggling, riding and life and stuff, and that was the biggest factor. Is like, how am I going to devote all this time to a club or to my passion, which I really love, and still incorporate my family into it. So that's why we do try and get them along as much as possible. Like, it is still, parent time as well. Yeah, I ride with my missus all the time, and it's our date night.
Yeah,
it's the time we get to spend
that's
together and stuff. But yeah, being family orientated was a really, really big thing for me. And again, I'm lucky I've found the guys that I have, and they've got that same vision with it too.
I find it hard because I'm single. It's the kids wanting to both want to come.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sidecar.
That's why. Yeah.
Not there yet.
And not on the VFR. Maybe on the DR.
Just see them up in the
Yeah, but that is always a struggle. The kids always want to come. So it's good having people in the club as well that can
jump on
chuck a kid on the back.
Yeah.
We spoke in the backyard before we started the podcast. You mentioned something that actually really resonated with me about people on bikes. Is like, it takes a certain type of person
It does, yeah.
to want to ride a bike in the first place, and then finding that brotherhood in that community.
Yeah.
There are a lot of different personalities out there. Not all of them get along. They don't have to. It's not a perfect world.
Yeah.
But to throw your leg over a bike the first time and go out on the road, was that like a choice of a lifestyle, or was it like a mental escape, or like what was going through your brain when you like, you know what, I think this is what I want to do?
Gee, I remember my first ride after doing my learner assessment and stuff like that. I went and bought a bike in Point Cook, not too far.
Yeah.
And my first ride was like daunting because I had to buy it from Point Cook right all the way back to Melton on the freeway. I'd never ridden on the freeway before. I was like,
and that Western Highway is not,
it was
not just any stretch of road. Yeah, it's quite sketchy through there.
I think it started as a hobby.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, this is going to be a cool way to get out of the house and something to spend my time on. But it quickly became a lifestyle, like something that I needed. 2 kinds of people buy bikes. People buy bikes and they'll sit there for months and months and months without riding them, and no stress. But there's the other people who within a couple of days are getting that itch. Like, I need to get on the bike. They'll hear bikes go past and go, what's that? What make and model,
So you guys all had licenses to ride your motorbikes on the road? Because I never.
Yeah.
I never got my motorcycle license until I came to Australia.
Yeah.
But I've had many bikes in New Zealand.
From what I've heard of New Zealand, that's quite common.
It's not legal, trust me. Mental health can be tough to talk about sometimes. When did you first feel comfortable about opening up about it?
I wouldn't be able to recall, a time in my life. I think it was many, many years ago, because I've gone through stuff that's affected me heavily in my youth. I think I've suffered from depression and stuff like that from a young age. And I've always bounced around GPs and therapy and stuff like that. So I think I've always been okay with opening up and talking. Like, you get me going. Sometimes I'll chew your fucking ear. I won't shut up for an hour, get the dry mouth going and stuff. I've always been okay. I think it's the other side to the talking of the judgment or the talking to the wrong person.
Definitely.
So
it's important to find the right people in your life to open up to. It really, really is.
Agree with that, 100%. It is about the people you talk to.
Yeah.
You think you're there for people if people needed to speak to you as well?
I can't compliment the people around me in my life. I still have daily struggles. The people I have in my circle now, I'm at the best place I've ever been. In that regard. Like I said before, I've known, complete dickheads and made stupid decisions, but the core one, my family, my kids and the brothers from the club, it's just such a warming embrace of coming together and the support we all offer each other. So I know that I could call anyone, and we're not a big group or anything like that, and that's one thing I love about us. But I could call any one of them at 3 in the afternoon or 3 in the morning, and they'll pick up, they'll listen. I could say, I need you now, or, I need a beer, I need to talk.
Best thing about our community,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah.
I mean, we all share the same passion.
But there's a genuine side to it as well, because I think that if you have something, like if you ask someone if they're doing okay, and I think that's what a lot of people lack and they don't realize in the sort of starting out is if you ask them if they're okay, ask them about their problems, it means you're taking them on. You're problem half, like problem shared is problem half type thing. So you're taking on their problems. And I think that's why I'm very lucky with these guys is if I say I'm not doing okay, they'll stop. They'll genuinely have an interest in me, seeing me do better.
I have the thing where I say, like, are you okay? long version. I don't want the, I'm fine.
Yeah.
No, I can see you're not. Like,
Yeah.
let's fucking talk about it.
Because I think, we do have that sort of like, oh, we'll just, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm doing okay. I think that, for the most part, I've got people around me that support me and love me, which is really important.
Yeah, for sure, man. And you're that for a lot of your guys.
I try to be. I mean, all I can do is try. I'm not perfect. I'm not a counselor or, anything like that. But
it's hard.
We run a fucking podcast, mate. We're not therapists. We have no qualifications to do this. We just wanted to talk about it.
Sometimes all I can do is listen, and if that's enough, that's enough.
Definitely. And sometimes that's all it's needed.
Yep.
What's the biggest mental health challenge you've actually faced, and how did you overcome it?
The biggest mental health challenge I have probably faced is parenting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I lost my father to suicide at a really young age, and that heavily affected through my adolescence and stuff like that. It really, really stuck with me. Like the whole, why am I not enough? Like I understand it more now being an adult and having those, coming very, very close to myself. I'm like, okay, I get it's not more of like the best choice. You really feel like it's your only choice. Like there is no other options out there for you. As a kid, it really, really stuck with me and stuff. So going into parenting, I had tremendous fears of like, I'm going to fuck these kids up.
Yeah.
How am I going to do this? I've never had a guidance of myself. I've never had a mentor or anything like that to go, if I had questions about anything, I never had anyone. Yeah. So I believe every parent makes it up as they go.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think there was just that was my biggest mental struggle. And I still go through it today. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I've got 6 kids, 5 boys.
Yeah.
So I think there's an extra pressure of like, I've got to turn these guys into men.
Your poor daughter.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's well guarded though.
She can
she
can hang with the best things there, for sure. So, but there is a lot of pressure.
Sorry, I know it's hard, but how old were you when your dad died?
4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I wasn't old enough to really retain a lot of memories and stuff, but I knew...
Like growing up, watching all your mates
growing up,
dad time, you're like, why didn't I get that?
Yeah.
That feeling of that void. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
I think that'd be a big part of starting a club as well, is filling that void for other people.
Yeah, I think so. I think that, look, what you were saying before about, what I want from the club and stuff like that is obviously, look, I want a safe place for people and to give back to the community and show us that we're just a good bunch of people.
Mate, you're doing it by coming on here on the podcast, mate, and sharing. I mean, it's important for people to share about how they feel. And
well, the whole point of this podcast is making the conversation okay. Yeah, and showing like you tell your story, someone's going to hear this and go like, yeah, my dad did the same thing. Like, I'm through the same type of feelings. So like, I didn't know how to deal with it. Like, just there is another side. We're not going to solve all the world's problems, but we're having a crack at it.
Yeah,
like if somebody listens to it and goes, maybe I should talk to somebody about something. Yeah, we've done our job proper. Yeah. Are there any ongoing struggles you're still navigating? Parenting?
Yeah, parenting. Some of the doubt as well.
I think we all go there.
A lot of that self-doubt.
I mean, I've been a single dad. I've said it on previous episode. My biggest fear is that I'm doing something wrong that's going to fuck them up in the future. Yeah?
Yep.
I'm a good person. I don't do wrong deliberately. I've got a short temper at times, but I always tell my kids that I love them. I think that's important. I mean, I grew up in a family where my mum and dad worked a hell of a lot. Dad was ex-Navy. I think Ezzy asked me just the other night, when was the last time you hugged your dad? And going back as a kid, I don't really remember a lot of hugging going on.
So one thing I'm lucky with in my house as well, that we all love each other.
Yeah.
We tell each other daily, there's hugs, there's, kisses and stuff like that.
Important.
I'm lucky. My daughter, she's at that age now where she's going through a bit of a rebellious stage.
Yeah.
But I have really good relationships with my kids, and there is definitely a lot of love there and stuff.
I think the biggest success as a parent is your kids still want to talk to you.
Yeah.
It's as funny as that sounds. Like in this day and age where they've got the fucking supercomputer in their pocket.
Yeah.
They don't have to talk to you. They've got access to everybody. If they still want to talk to you, no matter what it's about.
Yeah.
Don't brush over the small things because they're not small things to the kids. Yeah.
And like you said, that's when you're doing a good job, because to be a good parent, you got to be a parent first and a friend second.
Yes.
So if they still want to engage you on a sort of friend level, fuck them, all right, I'm doing something. I'm doing okay. Yeah. Ship hasn't sunk yet.
One of the things I tried to do with my kids, if I'm going to say no to something, I'm not just going to say no.
You'll give them a reason.
I fucking said so.
Yeah.
I'll say no because. Had you considered these other factors? Yeah. And they can come to the same decision sort of thing. Yeah. Like if you just like, no, well, then go, well, fuck that guy. I mean, he's just been an asshole. You got to explain it. I was 18 when my daughter was born. So I was a kid, raising a kid. Like my daughter's 28 now and she's my best mate.
That's awesome.
We have the conversations now where she's like, I understand now how hard that must have been to be like, she goes, I'm 28, I couldn't have a 10-year-old, that would be fucking weird. Like, so yeah, it was part of the journey. And my favorite thing is now, like, all my mates have got little kids, and I'm free and clear. The kids are all grown.
I didn't stop with just having them. So now I've got little and old. So.
What advice would you give to someone who's struggling with their mental health?
I think obviously speak up.
Yeah.
I think that's said a lot with people. One thing I've noticed, even the closest people to you might not see what you're going through.
Yeah.
And they might dismiss I'm okay. Yeah, I'm, struggling a bit. You know what I mean? They might dismiss that. And it's not out of lack of love. Everyone's got their own thing going on. Yeah. So sometimes you really have to speak up, because, man, the amount of times that I've just wished that, my partner will just see the pain in my eyes or in my voice and just comfort me. But unless you speak up and really make it clear, because they've got their own stuff going on, they're dealing with life, kids, work, whatever the case may be. So speaking up's very important. But I think a really big piece of advice I would try and give, don't give up and try again. Because I've gone through GPs, I've gone through therapy, I've gone through friends as well, right? So the first person you speak to might not be the one that you're going to stick with. I've had therapists that I'm like, this guy's a fucking idiot. Like, he doesn't get me at all. I can't relate to him. Yeah. And if I just gave up, it would be over. You know what I mean? Like, I would have gone a different direction or something like that. Especially, and I think it relates to even when you're getting close to the end, like suicide and stuff like that, right? There is always another chance, another option, another way to go. You just haven't found it yet. And I know it's so hard to see in all the mist of life.
It's really hard for a lot of people when you do reach out to somebody that's the wrong person. And you get
it's crushing.
They throw it back in your face, or they use what you've said in that moment of absolute vulnerability against you. There's nothing more crushing. But like you say, that just wasn't the right person.
Yeah, don't give up. Try again.
Open,
try talk to another friend, or try talk to a loved one, or go to a different GP, or try different medication.
Off the cuff, what's the first mental health program you think of? You would say, mate, you need to speak to these people. Who would that be?
Probably a GP.
Yeah.
I think in a way, when you say first, I'm like, what's the first step? And if you're really wanting professional help, I think that's probably unless you know of a psychologist or a psychiatrist or something like that, because usually it takes referrals and stuff like that.
Because you've still got to end up at a GP.
You've got to start that process at a GP. So if you've got one that is very thorough or you already relate to, that's awesome.
I can't get into my therapist for a couple of weeks. Who would you speak to? Would you call up Men's Mental Health Line or Beyond Blue, or can you think of any? What's one that you could think of? See, I think that's. I'm just trying to point out.
Yeah,
it's important to know these things, to tell people this is what you can do. Like through my work, we've got a mental health program through our employer. There is a number we can call and speak to ESP.
Yeah. But it's good to have that information. I think because you got to train yourself for those dark days.
I've been there, and if somebody said, "Oh yeah, you need to go and see a GP and talk to your GP," I'd go, "Fuck off, fucking time for that shit."
Yeah,
I'll be right.
GPs aren't what they used to be either.
They're not.
A lot of the super clinics and that, where you just like, bang, 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 they're just there to,
do you have a regular doctor?
What script is,
And it does seem like such a dismissive thing. GP, what's he going to do for me? That's just the start of the process. Because usually, unless you know numbers to call or professional help, you've got to start with that journey of, talking to the GP. But unfortunately, a lot of GPs aren't what they used to be, and they're just very dismissive. They're quick to throw you on medication as well. So it's actually a good point to have that information, have those.
Well, there'll be a few in the show notes, I hope.
You've mentioned advice, giving advice to guys. You want them to reach out, don't give up. You've got some more advice.
Yeah, I think that it's important to train your brain and look for the positive in the situation. And as cliche as that sounds, it really is. Like if you're like, oh, this guy cut me off in traffic, or my life's shit, or this has gone wrong. Your brain's going to start to recognize that stuff as what you want to focus on.
Yeah.
And you'll look for it. You'll look for the negative in a situation. Even when, and I've seen people do it, even when something good has happened, they'll go, oh, but that happened. Or, so-and-so said something to me and stuff. I'm like, yeah, but you're looking for that stuff, So even when you get out of bed in the morning and yesterday you couldn't, that's a win.
Yeah.
You focus on don't be too hard up on yourself. Like, oh, fuck, I got out of bed, I brushed my teeth this morning, fucking win.
Yeah.
Strike that up in the win column. And once you start to look for those kind of behaviors, your brain will start to focus on them, and it can snowball into a really healthy mindset.
Yeah, definitely.
Of instead of focusing on that negative, something bad happened that day, you'll even at the very least learn a lesson from it. Like, well, you know what? I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah.
Like instead of going, oh, fucking my life sucks. And look what happened to me. It's like, yeah, it did. But you know what? crying about it.
It's not going to make it better.
It's not going to change it.
Yeah.
So if you can actually learn
Let's
a
fix
lesson, even in the worst times, will contribute to a really healthy mindset. Because I think there's two sides, and look, this is for me personally. I think there's two sides to the mental health coin, so to speak, right? And this is how I phrase it. There's the healthy mindset and the healthy behavior.
Yeah.
Right? And you can't have one without the other, because I could be healthy, like I could be mentally strong and going, yeah, I've got this and stuff. If I'm sitting at home fucking being alone and not connecting with friends, not going to the gym and stuff like that, I'm going to slip back into that darkness.
Yeah, of course.
And the other way, if I'm going to the gym and see my friends, but I'm not mentally strong, going home and just feeling miserable. It's
cursing guys out on the road on the way there back.
They really go hand in hand. I think it's important for people to focus on both of them equally.
Yeah.
Because people go, to feel better, you just got to go out there and, make some friends and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, but you got to, love yourself.
Yeah, you got to work on yourself as well.
Be your own best mate.
You really do. Yeah. You've got to, find happiness in yourself before you can find happiness in anyone else. Because if you do go home and the curtains are drawn and you're alone and you fucking hate yourself, you're not going to be able to, give the best version to anyone else.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a mate reach out to me through the week this week who's going through a bit of shit with, a reoccurring ex that won't leave him alone.
Yep.
He said, everything's shit and the whole world's against me.
Yep.
And everything's really bad. And I'm like, mate, this morning someone woke up in a hospital bed. It's going to be their last day.
Yep.
Yeah, they're going to take their last breath. I said, you've got to attack every day like it's a bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you've woken up this morning, you're healthy. Yes, you got niggles, aches and pains, everything's hurting, but you've got the chance to do something today to make your day better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like that's the mentality like you talk.
And it is so much easier said
if you wake
than
up
done.
and go like, I feel like shit, today's going to be shit. It's going to be a shit day.
Yeah.
But did you have one shit thing happen for the day?
Yeah.
Or was it a shit day?
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
a difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
One shit thing happened today.
What you focus on.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, and it is. It's easier said than done. Like when you're having a really tough time and stuff, but it's not about those, like, I'm going to get up with everything chaos in my life. I'm going to get up with a smile on my face and tackle the world. It's just a sort of like, if you focus on those little steps, even they seem so minuscule, if you focus on those, like just self-care, groom myself, or I, had a shower today. Because I know that, I'm in a pretty good place now, but I've been in some deep, dark, depressive states, right? So I know what it's like to be there, and just everything feels like a chore.
Yeah.
Everything feels like you're climbing a mountain just to do the smallest task.
Exactly.
So
I need to go to the toilet. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Get out of bed. Like, go to the fucking toilet. It's not that big a deal. Like, in hindsight, you look back at those situations, you're like, hey, man, how down was I that day?
Be upset about that.
Yeah,
exactly.
How big was the black dog sitting on me that day? Yeah, like,
and you train yourself
mentality.
in the good times to get through the bad, because it's like mates, like everything, it's easy to be a mate, or it's easy to be there for someone when times are good.
Yeah.
But when someone hits rock bottom, and that's when you find out truly what people are made of. And I think that I never wish hard times upon anyone.
Absolutely.
But fuck, they really show you who's there for you. They really do, because a lot of people scattered to the wind when you've hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
It's a matter of getting yourself prepared while you're good. I feel great today, but all right, well, prep yourself for tomorrow, because it might not be so good.
And you don't, we're not telling you to bounce out of bed and fucking smile.
No,
you stub your toe, like, everything's still great. Like, it's not
The house is burning down around you.
It's not fake it till you make it, but it kind of is. Like, like,
Got to find the positive in everything. Well, not in everything.
The focus that.
Well, they say the hardest step is always the first one.
Yeah.
Because you're foreign territory, like, I've given up on life. It's like, just find something to make you happy for that one day. If you've got a to-do list, 10, 20 things on it, and you do one of them,
You've done
don't
something.
focus on those 19.
Yeah.
Just focus on that one. It's like, I did it. Tomorrow I might do 2. Next day 3. And that's the building you're going to do, the building blocks, the foundation you're going to give yourself to hopefully move forward in a productive way.
My two biggest mental health tools are my motorbike and a shower.
Yep.
I can completely change my whole outlook on life just by jumping in the shower.
Yeah.
I can wake up in the morning and be like, this is the worst freaking I've ever felt. Jump in the shower. I'm like, no, we're good.
That's better.
Cold shower to that.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
I hate it, but I've been so down on myself sometimes, and I'm just like, towards the end of the shower, I will flick that hot oil.
Same.
Give yourself 10, 20 seconds, and it's just like you gasp for breath. But
I've got to ease into it. I can't.
no cold plunges yet. You do feel invigorated when you jump out. You feel mentally happier.
Yeah.
Right? And it could be a placebo or whatever, but
No.
I think there's actual science behind it.
Yeah, they do it in Norway. Like you jump in a sauna and then
dive
you jump
in
in the
cold
harbour. Yeah, the harbour's frozen water. Then you jump back out, you jump back in the sauna. You do it like a couple of times. and your body's like, all right, we're on. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, okay, we get it. We're good.
And it lasts for hours.
Yeah,
So I think I saw somewhere that it's like the same as doing cocaine, the same chemical reaction in your brain. But it's not it's a very long-lasting high. If you're up to it, I've told people to do it that, in a bad spot as well. I'm like, hey, mate, jump in a cold fucking shower. It'll wake you up. It'll make you feel better because it really has worked. So I do it often, man. It's pretty rough.
No, I do it the same. I'm a hot shower, as hot as I can handle it. Yeah, my wife won't jump in the shower after me. She goes, I don't know how you stand in that lava, but that last 10 seconds just kicks you in there.
It does.
You go. How do you balance freedom of riding with your life's responsibilities? We kind of said 6 kids takes up
that's
fair
tough. Yeah, it is very tough.
Like, you'd be similar to myself in a presidential role. The club gets invited to a lot of things. You got to go out. You got to represent. Not just yourself,
networking
not yourself, the whole organization. Get your name out there as the good guys. Trying to balance that, and like you can't make a ride. Like to my guys, like somebody needs to go to this ride. We have to have at least one person in our car, like at this ride, to say like we heard the invitation and we came. Like with a smaller group, you take a lot more of that on yourself. So how do you balance that? Like,
unfortunately, there's just things you can't get to. There is a balance of like, well, I've got to get to this. This is an important one, and this one we might try and get on the next one or something like that. Because especially when riding season, it's all year round, but especially in the warmer weathers.
There's kind of a very busy.
Everything's jumping off same weekend, back-to-back staff, and I'm getting old, so I can't do back-to-back events 2 in a day and stuff. So it can be a juggle. But when we do go out to support other places, other clubs and groups and stuff, we always just try and all go together. It's very important for us to represent ourselves as a whole.
So with you and your wife while riding, have you got a good support network around you of like parents or in-laws or friends who look after the smaller kids while you're doing that sort of thing? Or
we do. Like I'm lucky enough that my son's 17, so he does a bulk of the babysitting, which is really good.
Big one to watch a little one or the other way around.
Pretty much.
What's one thing about the biker community you wish more people understood?
What I said before, I think the biker community as a whole, and you obviously get your nuffers in there and your bad eggs and stuff, they're really misrepresented. They really are, because people see the leathers, they see the beards and the size of them and stuff. This is scary. But I've seen a TikTok where, chicks like, oh, if you get lost at a festival, I want you to go up to the biggest, scariest looking biker. And you, honestly, I believe that you would probably be in the best hands possible.
Exactly. If a little kid come running up to me in the shopping center and says, well, can you help me find my mummy and daddy? I would drop whatever
on earth to make that happen, But other people, security guards, they're just paid to be there. But like the bikers in general, some of the most, generous, genuine people I've ever met in my life.
Absolutely.
Really.
How can bikers or anyone else better support friends who might be struggling?
I mean, if you've got someone who rides with you, going for a ride is sometimes the best therapy.
I was going to say,
like, if you've got a bike, like if you don't have a bike, go get one.
Yeah.
Like, really, you know what I mean? Like, I saw a video recently. I think you've shared it.
Make sure you take your time.
Troy.
If you're going to go on a bike, make sure you do all the courses and you don't rush into buying the bigger,
definitely
powerful bike.
Yeah,
because they are dangerous.
It's a skill set.
There is a process, and it takes a little bit of something to strap yourself on a rocket, full of fuel and go, this is cool. I need this in my life,
Yeah. I think you can tell within the first 5 minutes of jumping on a bike if your entire personality just became, I'm now a biker.
Yes. Yeah.
Or I don't get it. Like my wife got her license and we bought her a bike and we got her out there and she's just like, when does it become fun?
Okay, yeah.
And I was like, well, if it's not fun yet, it's not.
It's going to be a certain mindset,
It's not going to be,
because you kind of know, like, each ride, it's in the back of your mind. It's not that you're thinking about getting on a bike, but it could be your last, or something fatal could happen. Because, and not necessarily your own riding ability. It's just the drivers out there are fucking hopeless. You got to have that sort of switch in you to go, this is fun for me.
I think nearly every ride, everyone has that one moment where you're like, oh, that could have been really bad.
Yeah. So I can remember somebody talking about this. I can't remember if it was one of the people from our club or not. Teach your kids to keep an eye out for bikers. Where's Wally?
When you're in the car.
Yeah. Keep an eye out for.
What colour's that bike if you hear a bike or something?
Yeah. Teach the kids to keep an eye out for them, to spot them and whatnot. So what's next for you? What's the next big ride for you?
Yeah, we've got some really good rides at the start of the year. Trying to think of anything that's sort of open to everyone. Yeah, so
you got some club stuff coming up.
Yeah. I think it's super important to build that brotherhood, build that bond amongst us. Like, You can't just focus on, oh yeah, everyone can come along and have a ride. You've got to have that club stuff. You've got to have that just hanging out with each other, getting to know each other. That's how you really sort of build those bonds. You know, like I think the brotherhood amongst you know, bikers, clubs, stuff like that is so strong because there's that sense of your life essentially is in their hands sometimes. You know, like, and the best relationships come from trust. So if you know you can ride right next to this person, you know, 2 feet away,
100%,
and trust the way they ride and trust them, then that really does build that brotherhood amongst you.
And it's worth protecting.
It is, yeah, it really is. Yeah,
it's something you have to hold dear, like, and it has to be dear to everybody in the club. Yeah, like it's something that has to be like you realize you're part of something special.
Yeah, I think you've got to be there for the right reasons. Yeah, really do.
100% for that one.
So do you use comms in your helmet?
No, not yet.
You're not speaking to your partner?
No.
Are you a headphones and music guy, or are you?
Yeah, music. Usually music. If it's just a cruisy ride, you know, short or something like that, I won't worry about it. But usually music.
Go-to song or go-to genre.
I've listened to everything. I'll listen to literally everything. So like real poppy stuff, but I'll listen to heavy metal or
Taylor Swift.
I love like Aussie hip hop and stuff like that. So you know, might even hear me classical opera or something like that one day. You know, when I'm feeling it. So it depends what I'm in the mood for. No comes. My missus jokes that she's like, no one wants to hear me on the mic throughout the ride, cursing off drivers and stuff.
We have comms through our club, and as the bloke up the front, or like I'm one behind the road captain, I'm not on the comms. Like I don't want to be talking to people. A little bit of music going and just
just concentrate.
I'm on a cruise, and I just,
because that's the beauty of riding too. Like I think the different elements that I've taken from riding, like solo riding, is so much more different to group riding.
Absolutely.
Like group riding, it's just fun. It's like you switched on and you're really, you know, having a good time. But when solo riding, it's like that's when you're really into your own thoughts. Because you don't have to concentrate about formation as much and not getting lost. That's my problem a lot. Like if we get lost, like it was planned. It was 100% planned to happen. So, but it's just great.
Nailed it, mate. Thank you very much for coming along. Great chat. Hope to catch you guys out on the road soon.
For sure.
Southern
Brotherhood. Really enjoyed that. You know,
nuts. We're going to do some good
plenty more rides in the future together.
Yeah. We've got a guest coming in next week who is massive on mental health and working on getting all the SMCs together. So
that'll be a good one.
We'll get him in, and
that's going to be good to listen to as well.
He's going to announce a pretty big ride,
big news, and
for next year.
Stuff that's been floating around.
So that'll be cool. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for listening.
Cheers, mate.
Looking forward to your feedback.
Thanks for riding with us today on Twist the Throttle. If you enjoyed the ride, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your crew. Remember, no matter how tough the road gets, you're never riding alone. Stay safe, stay open, and catch you on the next ride. Keep that throttle twisted.